Maisons-Laffitte, Mesnil-le-Roi, and Newmarket. Before we start, I would like to introduce you to Cécile Larouille. I don't know if she can hear us. If you'd like to say hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Cécile.
Hello.
Cécile translated our presentations, and she's joining the event to help with our discussion. Also, I would like to say hello to Councillor Hulbert, who is joining the event over the phone. Councillor Hulbert, would you like to say hello to the group? I'm sorry, we cannot hear you. Debbie, can you try to put the speaker a bit closer to the computer, please?
That is for me.
I'm sorry, we cannot hear him.
Can we have conference view rather than sharing your screen?
Yes, of course, I can stop sharing.
That's better.
That's better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
That's better.
Now we can see everybody.
Yeah, that's better. Now we can see everybody.
Yeah.
And see me as well. Now, so we'll try one more time with Councillor Hulbert, maybe.
Yes.
Now we can hear you.
All I say is good evening to everybody. It's nice to hear you all, and it's nice to be involved. All right.
Thank you very much. So, due to the pandemic, travel was not allowed last year and continues in 2021. The twinning members haven't had the opportunity to meet for 2 years in a row, and so this is an opportunity to refresh the twinning connections by Zooming together. The first part of the event, we will hear the friendship messages from all 3 towns, and we start with Newmarket.
She's the one doing it.
Thank you, Christy. Bonsoir, mes amis. Je m'appelle Michael Jefferys et je suis maire de Newmarket. Je suis très heureux de vous rencontrer. It is indeed good that we do meet, even under these very difficult circumstances.
I'll go and get my
Friendship between our towns must never be lost. I was mayor in 2004 when we celebrated 50 years of our twinning. The occasion coincided with the Newmarket Carnival, and I was privileged to lead the procession down the High Street in a 1929 Bentley, accompanied by Chantal. I recall that there was a reaffirmation ceremony at Tattersalls, including the signing of the official twinning documents. Then later that day, we enjoyed a special dinner at the Millennium Stand on the racecourse. I hope that we'll be able to celebrate future milestones in a similar fashion. In 2010, I visited Maisons-Laffitte and Mesnil-le-Roi with students from Newmarket Academy. My very kind hosts were Therese and Pierre. I enjoyed a wonderful week, meeting so many French friends and seeing the sights of Paris. Of course, the twinning could not have lasted so long without the commitment of so many people on both sides of the channel. They have always shown a determination to continue the link, but they also took great pleasure and enjoyment in each other's company. The old faithfuls have now decided to pass on the baton, and I hope that a new generation will build and strengthen the friendship between our towns. I am confident that we'll be able to continue the twinning of Newmarket with Mesnil-le-Roi and Maisons-Laffitte for many years to come, and that our friendship can only grow stronger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now the message from Mesnil-le-Roi, please.
Right. Good evening. I am Serge Caseris, the new mayor of Mesnil-le-Roi. I leave my deputy mayor to speak. Aline Billet, vas-y.
Okay. Good evening. So it's lovely to get to meet everyone today, and thank you very much for organizing this conference call. Special thanks to the association Les Amis de Newmarket and the city of Newmarket, and in particular Christy has been in touch for the last few weeks for working on putting the twinning back on track. So we must remain in contact and maintain the links between our cities. Our twinning is an asset to both our cities, and we look forward to making it come alive again. So we hope to set up new projects, and we have several in mind already. We are very fortunate to live in a city with a strong Anglophone and international community. So we want to build on this strength, and the twinning of all cities is a vital part to fulfill this objective, so that all citizens can experience the wealth of different cultures and languages. Soon after our election last year, we created an English program offering all children financially accessible English classes. Building their confidence and ability to speak English was an important project on our election campaign. Several of our team's new town councillors have an Anglophone background as binationals or as expatriates. Our English classes, initially on Wednesday mornings at the Leisure Centre for year 2 to 6, and on Wednesday afternoon for older students, are led by a mother tongue English teacher with the main objective to improve the spoken skills of all French children. When we started these classes last September, one of the students told us that she was afraid of speaking in English at school, as her French teacher would constantly correct her mistakes. This example is precisely why we went on introducing this English class project. There are many projects that we still want to implement in this respect: story time, songs and games for kids. And all schools are also keen to introduce more English in their classes throughout the year. One project could involve twinning same-age school classes, for example, between the two cities. And the person in charge of the leisure center is contacting a primary school from Newmarket, and in order to build exchanging between them. And he's here tonight, so I will introduce everyone. This September, we're also planning to increase the English classes we offer, and we hope that we will build new projects together with you. So we are really happy to see all the efforts made by the association, les Amis de Newmarket, to keep twinning alive and active, and especially given the current situation in both countries. We work as a team on all these projects. Even for this evening conference call, it has been a teamwork for this speech, teamwork for the video you're going to see, and I hope you will enjoy. And some members of the team are here tonight. So I would like to introduce Émilie Delas, is Deputy Mayor. She's in charge of finance. She's also half American, so nobody's perfect. And Christelle Colombier, she's the Deputy Mayor too. Olivier Robert, I don't know if he's around, he should be here, but I'm not sure. Didier Kenisberg too. And there should be also two, welcome Olivier. We should have also Sandrine Marchand and Pascal Cancada, all town councillors. And we have Fabien Giraud, I saw him on the screen, and who is in charge, is managing the leisure center, and is really keen in having contact with primary schools in Newmarket. So we look forward to working together on new and existing projects, and with a wide range of targets and contacts on both sides. So hopefully next time we'll be able to meet in person in Le Mesnil-le-Roi or in Newmarket. Thank you.
I'm sorry, my microphone. Thank you very much. And before we move on to Maisons-Laffitte, I have a kind request. If you like to open your cameras, we would love to see your face. And if you like, this is just a request. Thank you very much. So now we move on to Maisons-Laffitte, please. Thank you.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, Jacques.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Alors là, qui est-ce que nous avons? Donc, je pense que c'est au maire de Maisons-Laffitte de parler. Alors, comme je suis un défenseur de la langue française, mais que je connais un peu d'anglais,
Si tu veux dire quelque chose, faut t'appuyer.
D'abord en français, conformément à la signature de nos deux ambassadeurs de l'entente cordiale, où chacun utilisait sa langue. C'est aussi simple que cela. Et donc, je vais vous dire quelques mots en français tout d'abord, pour vous dire qu'effectivement, le jumelage de Newmarket avec Maisons-Laffitte et Mesnil-le-Roi est un des plus anciens jumelages. Il remonte à 1954. And I can tell you one thing, that once I spoke to the Queen, Elizabeth. This was in the Senate in the Palais de Luxembourg in Paris when she came for an official visit, and I had the privilege to say her few words. And I said to her that Maisons-Laffitte et Jumelage is twin with Newmarket since 1954. And she said, this is certainly one of the oldest twinning in the world, which is the case. Voilà. Et donc, je garde toujours en mémoire ce privilège de m'être adressé à la reine d'Angleterre, que les Français connaissent beaucoup. As you know, the French are republicans, but in fact, they have killed the king, and in their soul, in their heart, they still sing of him, and they are monarchists, in fact. This is why de Gaulle has installed, you know, this election of a president, which is a kind of Republican monarch. C'est un républicain monarque. I've just heard what this beautiful young lady said before, who is Aline Billet. Je vous reconnais, madame. Eh bien, vous m'avez beaucoup plu. Je crois que la vocation, salut Serge, la vocation de nos jumelages, c'est bien sûr d'avoir des échanges peut-être entre les officiels, to have exchange between officials of our two cities. But in fact, the main purpose is that the young citizens, that means the youth, can, you see, have experience of knowing other nations. This is the main purpose in my view. Parce que nous avons changé d'époque. Aujourd'hui, dans les années 50, you know, in the 1950s, people did not really travel a lot as they do today. Les gens ne voyageaient pas autant, alors que maintenant, ils vont dans le monde entier. You know, they travel everywhere in the world, everywhere. Mais we still have the duty to, let's say, the youth of our both countries to know the other ones. Only because they will, of course, experience the English cuisine, if I see what you mean, if you see what I mean. And so, if they experience the English cuisine, when they come back, they will eat everything that their mother will eat, you see. I'm teasing you a bit, you see what I mean. But this is quite important. That's why, never mind, we shall continue. We are whole nations. Nous sommes des nations ancestrales. Of course, we still reproach you that you drive on the wrong side of the road. On n'a jamais compris que vous puissiez rouler à gauche, but we still love you. And I will add something very important. During the war, there was a lady called Vera League. She belonged to the Special Executive Order that was founded by Churchill to fight the Nazis. She was perfectly fluent in French and in English, of course. She has been, you know, stepdaughter of a famous race trainer in France. And unfortunately, she has been deported and was killed by the Nazi. I think it was in Dachau. And we are going to maintain a memory with a special square dedicated to Vera League. And that will happen in a few weeks because, of course, at the pandemic, you know, nous a empêché de le faire plus tôt. So through this denomination, you know, of Vera League in a square, which is in fact round, but never mind. This is a place where there will be, you know, a plate. Nous maintenons cette lutte ancestrale de l'entente cordiale contre le totalitarisme. Voilà ce que je veux dire. This is what I wanted to say. So, longue vie à notre jumelage et longue vie à l'entente cordiale.
Bravo.
Merci.
Thank you very much. So, I'm sorry, we continue with the video presentations. There's going to be discussion after that, and we can answer any question. Because I'm coordinating this discussion and I'm just going to share all the videos, there might be minor delays. I would like to apologize for that. So I'm going to make a start with,
Voilà.
with the presentation from Mesnil-le-Roi. I'm sorry, let's start with that.
Welcome to Mesnil-le-Roi in the department of Yvelines, in the Ile-de-France region. We are even more precisely between two important towns, Saint-Germain-en-Laye on one side, Maisons-Laffitte on the other. And between these two towns, there is a small town of Mesnil-le-Roi and its 6,600 inhabitants between the river Seine and the forest. The Mesnil-le-Roi is a haven of peace and tranquility a few kilometers from Paris. The peculiarity of Le Mesnil-le-Roi is it is its meadows, this protected field by the river Seine, and behind me, as you can see, the Tower of La Défense. These nourishing open fields, which made the prosperity of Le Mesnil-le-Roi a long century, was what we call the royal granary, since Le Mesnil-le-Roi supplied the royal court when it was traveling to Saint-Germain-en-Laye. Together, we will discover the history and heritage of Le Mesnil-le-Roi. We will also go for a walk in the forest, and then, with the association, a non-profitable organization, La Salamandre Verte, we will see how Le Mesnil-le-Roi tries to enhance and preserve its natural heritage. Have a nice walk, and welcome to Le Mesnil-le-Roi. If today the town enjoys a privileged geographical location near the large urban centers of Paris and La Défense, the commune of Le Mesnil-le-Roi has seen the beginning of urban built-up since the antiquity. Le Mesnil, it started before the Romans. Why? Because there are quarries. We are on the coast of Saint-Germain, so the quarries were exploited very early on. That is the first period. The second period, I would say, under Robert Le Pieux, therefore Capet. Robert Le Pieux, when we finally found historical evidence of the existence of Le Mesnil du Roi, the small domain of the king, which gave then its name to the town. Then we have a period that would qualify as splendor. It is the period of Renaissance, until practically the departure of Louis XIV to Versailles, because the court stayed mainly in Saint-Germain after Poissy. Le Mesnil took advantage from valets, the gardeners, the king's officers' presence, outcome which helped at the prosperity with the court presence. We fed the court, we were the big orchard, a big vegetable growing fields, and today we are a town of 6,600 people. Directly of the town of Mesnil-le-Roi, more than half of the territory is an agricultural area, for the pleasure of some and the astonishment of others. We are in a city, an agri-urban town. You have more than 50% of Le Mesnil, which is unbuildable, and a large part of this is represented by agricultural land. We need farmers because it is an asset to maintain for the upkeep of nature in general, that the township would not have the capacity to support. Outside of the city, the church of Saint-Vincent, consecrated in 1587, is a remarkable building in Mesnil-le-Roi who hides several historical works. It's rather a special building because of a perfect Gothic-style house with a small nave in another style, built afterwards. There is indeed a statuary which dates mainly from the Middle Age.
Effectivement, un statuaire qui date pour l'essentiel du Moyen Âge.
So, Mr. Myard, a few tips for spending a beautiful sunny day at Le Mesnil-le-Roi? If you want to walk along the river Seine, if you want to go up towards the forest, if you want to go to Saint-Germain-en-Laye Castle on one side or Maisons-Laffitte Castle, if then you want to go wander on the side of the meadow, see the dead arm of the river Seine with swan, near the rowing club, near the tennis club, which is 90-year old, you will have the pleasure of the eye, the calm, and finally, I think it is a way of being happy that is well worth strolling in Paris or elsewhere.
Léger quand même.
Despite its proximity to the metropolis of Greater Paris, Le Mesnil-le-Roi has more than 5 wooded hectares, an heritage dating from the old castle of the city destroyed in the 1940s and which still has several remarkable spaces today. This forest is made mainly of maple trees, liddens. We find oak, we find birch trees. It is a forest which is very diversified. By its past, it was a park, the park of Saint-Germain-en-Laye Castle. This forest is a very enjoyable forest. It is nice because it is a natural environment connected with the forest of Saint-Germain. It covers more than 3,000 hectares. So it is really an area to relax, to have calm and tranquility.
La forêt est aujourd'hui entretenue et protégée par l'ONF, l'Office national des forêts.
Bon, ma mission en tant que technicien, c'est vraiment c'est d'être le gestionnaire de cette forêt.
As a technician, it's really to be the manager of this forest on the behalf of the town hall. So whether it is for the works, for the cuts, or for everything that happens here, such as events, is to make sure that all of this takes place in a safety and a good manner.
The
communal forest of Le Mesnil-le-Roi, a real bubble of air just 10 kilometers from La Défense. The main interest of the forest is above all its calm. This is what we try to preserve as much as possible, the tranquility and nature. Created in 2016 by 8 founding members, the Salamandre Verte Association aims to protect biodiversity on the territory of Le Mesnil-le-Roi. On the banks of the Seine is a natural reserve made of open and growing fields free of all human construction.
Thank you very much. So the second presentation is from Maisons-Laffitte.
Le point fort de la ville est bien sûr que c'est une ville à la campagne et que depuis, je dirais, plus de 150 ans, et même au-delà, on a protégé cette ville.
Le château, c'est vraiment l'emblème de la ville. C'est le point de départ de la ville de Maisons-Laffitte, puisqu'à l'époque, quand le château est créé, on parle de Maisons-sur-Seine. C'est un château du XVIIe siècle qui prend lui-même la place d'un ancien château de la Renaissance. C'est vraiment ici le centre du pouvoir avec l'ancienne église à côté, donc les deux pouvoirs, le clérical et le régalien. La première, on va dire que c'est René de Longueuil, le commanditaire de ce château actuel. Il a été surintendant des finances 2 ans avant Fouquet, donc c'est l'équivalent de Fouquet. Mais son histoire s'est mieux terminée, et puisqu'il a fondé un domaine et qu'on a eu des descendants sur 4 générations. nous avons eu Voltaire qui est venu au château, nous avons eu Jacques Laffitte, celui qui va créer la ville-parc. Et puis, parmi les personnalités célèbres, nous avons eu Jean Cocteau. On a une ville qui a attiré beaucoup de personnes célèbres, peut-être par sa verdure, par sa proximité de Paris, par son cadre de vie un peu atypique.
La ville ne serait pas ce qu'elle est sans les chevaux. C'est la première activité économique de la ville, avec plus de 1000 chevaux répartis entre les chevaux de course et les chevaux de selle. Son parc est totalement organisé pour permettre à l'implantation des écuries, mais également aux sorties de nos 1000 chevaux de pouvoir se faire dans les meilleures conditions possibles. C'est très clair que l'urbanisme local est très structuré autour de cette activité des chevaux. Dans le parc, nous avons également l'hippodrome, qui est un élément structurant de cet urbanisme. C'est la raison pour laquelle Maisons-Laffitte souhaite garder ce titre de cité du cheval en France.
L'idée est née d'abord d'une personne qui s'appelle Frédéric Mulford Barrington, alias Barry Linham, qui est né en 1904, année de l'entente cordiale, dont le grand-père était entraîneur de chevaux à Maisons-Laffitte, et le père également. Il s'y installa en 1910. Et c'est lui qui a eu cette idée, qui a proposé aux conseils municipaux de Newmarket, du Mesnil-le-Roi et de Maisons-Laffitte de créer ce jumelage des deux côtés de la Manche. C'est d'abord des voyages de l'amitié qui ont lieu chaque année. Une année à Newmarket, une année côté français. Il y a également des échanges personnels, d'ordre culturel, quand la chorale de Newmarket est venue à Maisons-Laffitte, ou bien sportif, quand les cyclistes de Maisons-Laffitte sont allés à Newmarket en vélo. Le festival de cinéma anglais, en lien avec la Talente. La présence de la bibliothèque de rue britannique qui permet aux habitants de déposer des ouvrages ou d'emprunter des livres qu'ils souhaiteraient découvrir.
Finalement, qu'est-ce qu'on va retrouver à Maisons-Laffitte? Pour l'essentiel, des Parisiens qui, lassés du rythme et de la pollution de la grande ville, souhaitent s'installer en proximité de Paris pour pouvoir facilement aller travailler à la Défense, au cœur de Paris, sans être obligés de prendre leur voiture, en ayant un temps de transport tout à fait raisonnable, et la possibilité, le week-end et au quotidien, de pouvoir profiter justement d'un centre-ville très agréable, d'un parc dans lequel on peut aller se balader.
J'apprécie beaucoup la verdure, il y a beaucoup d'activités, on peut faire du sport comme on le souhaite, tout est à proximité.
Qu'est-ce qui pourrait qualifier mieux Maisons-Laffitte finalement que cette notion d'enracinement dynamique? C'est pouvoir vivre dans son temps, avec les contraintes et aussi tout ce qu'apporte le Grand Paris, tout ce qu'apporte l'urbanisation, tout ce qu'apporte le monde d'aujourd'hui, mais également un enracinement avec le souhait de préserver ce caractère cossu, quelque part, dans lequel on se sent bien.
La volonté des Mansoniens, c'est de garder une ville résidentielle, une ville qui évolue bien sûr, car tout évolue, mais une ville qui protège son environnement et qui prend en compte son environnement pour respecter le cadre de vie. C'est une ville qui vous conquiert, c'est une ville qui vous, je dirais, vous prend aux tripes et au cœur.
Très bien.
Very well. And we are moving on to the Newmarket presentation.
Newmarket, the home of horse racing, where we invite you to discover the town's rich history and heritage. There's so much to see and do here. From the attractions such as the National Stud and the National Horse Racing Museum, to spending a day at the races, or indeed an evening, there's a wealth of accommodation and eateries for you to enjoy, and a vibrant town centre as well.
Thank you, and welcome to Newmarket, what we say is the home of racing. My name is Nick Patton, I'm the MD of Jockey Club Estates. I've got a responsibility of running all the gallops surrounding Newmarket, all 2,500 acres, used by around 2,750 odd horses on a daily basis. Newmarket is pretty unique, it's a special place. We're twinned with Maisons-Laffitte and Lexington, two other extraordinary racing areas in the world. And Newmarket is probably one of the largest clusters of racehorses anywhere in the world. We have the training grounds, we have the race courses, we have the Tattersalls, the sales ring, we have the stud farms, and of course we've got the horse racing museum, all the vets that ensure the horses are fit and healthy on a daily basis. It's truly a unique place. There's nowhere quite like it in the world, and I hope you enjoy this short tour and short clip of what Newmarket has to offer. And we really welcome you to come and stay and enjoy the Jockey Club rooms anytime, and please just get in touch.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday.
Welcome to Newmarket and the National Horse Racing Museum, where we're delighted to be able to welcome back our visitors and our special friends from the twin town of Maisons-Laffitte. We hope you're able to visit us soon and enjoy our tremendous 5-acre site where we celebrate the history and science of horse racing.
Don't you want to go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries. We'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, it will all seem better outside. Just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours forever.
actually not. Well,
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the Heathcote Hotel. I'm Doug, the head chef of the hotel. This is Sarah, the restaurant manager / duty manager. And today we're going to be making the famous Newmarket cake. The ingredients are as follows. You need 225 grams of butter, 225 grams of granulated sugar, 225 grams of plain flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, roughly 2 to 3 tablespoons of chopped chocolate, 4 egg yolks, 4 egg whites, blanched chopped almonds, about 100 grams, and 100 millilitres of cold strong coffee. So first of all, we need to cream the butter and the sugar together until paired and fluffy. Now for the dry ingredients, we need to sieve the 225 grams of plain flour and also the 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And add the chocolate to the dry ingredients. Stir them and make sure they're incorporated together. And now gradually add in the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, little by little, while mixing together. So at this point, we get the 4 egg yolks, lightly beaten. Add about half to the dry mix. The remainder of the egg. And the whisk of soft beats. Just to make the mixture become a bit looser. Just repeat the process in the dry ingredients, the remaining. Coffee. And the remainder of the egg whites. Now add the chopped blanched almonds. Stir through so that's all together. Cake tin, just lightly greased around the edges and a parchment paper on the bottom. And if you just preheat the oven to 180, it's about gas mark 4. That'll take about 60 to 70 minutes to cook. Just have to mix the baking tin. Tap the inside. Smooth it around the top. Thank you.
I'll let the chef do that. Here's one I prepared earlier. I'm just going to cut a slice so we can have a little taste. I feel it's got the rustic feel to it as well. And this would be nice with a cup of coffee and some cream maybe. Okay, there we go, Douglas.
Very nice, thank you.
Are you going to take me on board in the kitchen?
Will do.
We're going to have this cake on our menu at the Heathcote Hotel, so come down and visit us in the marquee, have a nice slice of cake and coffee.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Hi, I'm Robert, the General Manager here of the Heathcote Hotel in Newmarket. We're located just at the bottom of Newmarket Heath, where you can see the horses exercising daily. Discover Newmarket do some fantastic tours that we work with. I hope you enjoyed the cake making video, and we look forward to welcoming you to Newmarket in the not too distant future.
And a visit wouldn't be complete without booking onto a Discover Newmarket tour. These amazing behind-the-scenes experiences will take you to the top trainage yards and stunts in the country, go up to the Hallett Gallops, where you'll see some of our 3,000 equine residents that we're so famous for go about their morning exercise, or maybe go on our walking and driving tours, where you'll delve into the history, walk the steps that royalty have, both past and present, and really understand what makes this town so special. So we really hope that we can welcome you back this year, and we look forward to seeing you.
Très bien.
Very well, thank you. So we have...
Christy?
Yes, I'm here. We have another presentation from the French Twinning Association prepared a video for us. So let's watch the last video.
Cela fait plus de 60 ans que Maisons-Laffitte et Mesnil-le-Roi sont jumelés avec Newmarket en Angleterre. Ce jumelage fut décidé en 1954 d'après l'idée de Barry Linham, alors résident britannique à Maisons-Laffitte. 2 ans plus tard, l'association des Amis de Newmarket fut créée pour animer le jumelage. Depuis lors, échanges entre jeunes, rencontres amicales, sportives et culturelles ont rapproché nos communautés. L'association organise aussi des activités et animations locales tournées vers la culture et la langue anglaise.
Le voyage de l'amitié, c'est non seulement un moment de vie partagé avec les familles, mais c'est aussi un grand moment de découverte touristique et culturelle qui rassemble Anglais et Français dans une ambiance conviviale et festive. C'est ainsi que se sont nouées, au fil des années, des amitiés sincères et durables. Et nous attendons tous, avec impatience, ces prochaines rencontres.
Depuis le début du jumelage, il y a eu 60 échanges de jeunes entre Newmarket et Maisons-Laffitte, le Mesnil-le-Roi. Ces échanges de jeunes, basés dès le départ sur l'accueil gratuit en famille, ont permis à de nombreux jeunes Français et Anglais de faire un séjour touristique et de découvrir le mode de vie des familles françaises et anglaises. En 2016, nous avons dû suspendre l'échange, faute d'un nombre suffisant de participants côté français et de familles d'accueil côté anglais. L'avenir passe par une nouvelle formule d'échange.
Très bien.
Very well. So, thank you very much. We conclude this part with a very special presentation from a very special lady. Sandra Isom is chairing the Newmarket Local History Society and prepare for us a quick history presentation of Newmarket. Sandra, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Bonsoir, nos amis. This is the way that most people think about Newmarket today. A place where over 2,500 racehorses live and train during the racing season, alongside a local population of about 16,600 people. In fact, Newmarket is the third largest town in the West Suffolk area. The relatively flat expanse of Newmarket Heath stretches away around the town, Although reduced in size today, this is still the largest area of cultivated heathland in the world. The gallops and training facilities are counted amongst the finest, and they were also some of the earliest in the world. So, how did this unique town come to be here? Newmarket stands on free draining chalk rock, which provides a good dry surface for walking on, and also for horse racing. In ancient times, people travelled north and south on this dry chalk heathland on trackways collectively known as the Icknield Way. Dense forests lay to the east side and extensive fen wilderness to the west. The soils and water in chalk landscapes support many unique species. This is a chalk hill blue butterfly. Some areas of Newmarket Heath are officially designated Sites of Special Scientific Interest, SSSIs, and this is a pyramid orchid. Before the advent of metals, flint stone was important for making tools and weapons. It is only found in chalk and was mined at Grimes Graves north of Newmarket. This was one of the earliest industries. Ancient people had to live near water sources. Now Newmarket has a small river, which is now culverted, and a number of springs of water. These once flooded the lower end of the town at times. For thousands of years, many different peoples came to live around here. After the Stone Age, the people of the Bronze Age built round barrows or graves on the heath. In the Iron Age, the Celtic Iceni tribe ruled. They were noted breeders of fine horses and dogs. The horse had a special place in their culture, so this was probably the time of the first horse races on the heath. Their reign was ended by the Roman invaders. Then, in turn, Anglo-Saxons settled, and the area became part of their kingdom of East Anglia. In the mid-600s AD, Christianity arrived, and also the huge 7-mile-long Devil's Dyke earthwork was constructed to protect local settlements. Travellers, traders and pilgrims all had to stay somewhere safe at night, so this local settlement would have housed and fed them. Around 1200 AD, Newmarket acquired its modern name. King John granted the small town a twice-weekly market charter, which still continues today. Later, as Newmarket grew in importance and prosperity, 2 annual fairs were added. The old inner town was much as shown on this map. The high street layout is still recognisable today, as are some of the old alleyways. The residents made their living by farming, selling produce in the market, brewing ale and baking bread. These 2 commodities were very important and were strictly regulated by local law. The long strip farms running away from the high street are called burgage plots. They contained a dwelling and some farming land. Later, these plots enabled Newmarket's early inner town stables to be built, in turn facilitating horse racing. Newmarket had many inns and small one-room pubs. Everyone drank beer, as this was considered safer than water. Sorry. Pages stuck together. February the 27th, 1604, as King James was exploring his new kingdom, he came to Newmarket Heath to hunt the hare, a favourite pastime. Winter days were short, and he sent servants to find accommodation for the night. He liked wine, so that might have influenced the choice, but he was taken to a large inn in Newmarket, the Griffin. Royal Newmarket began. The Griffin would have been similar to this picture. James bought it and also the other wooden inn alongside it. He put the two together to become Newmarket Palace 1, so called because the king lived there. The king and court visited several times a year. It was a type of royal holiday resort, but affairs of state were still conducted there. Hunting, hawking, cockfighting, private horse racing, jousting and card games were usual pastimes. By 1613, King James had built a fine Newmarket Palace on the same land, with lodgings for himself and his heir. It was made of brick, then an expensive material. For this he employed famous architect Inigo Jones. This was Palace 2. James's son, King Charles I, continued to visit Newmarket annually, usually in spring and autumn. This established the later tradition for race meetings. Studs and stables were established locally. Charles, maybe due to his small stature, was an excellent rider. He competed in races and other types of equine sport. He also enjoyed real or royal tennis within the palace. Sadly, during the English Civil War, Charles was imprisoned in his own palace here on the way to his execution. King Charles II, Charles I's son, returned to the throne in 1660. Known as the Merry Monarch, he came back to many problems in the land, so it was several years until he returned to Newmarket. He then had a different, larger palace, Palace 3, built for himself further along the High Street. Palace House is the only remnant of it today. Charles instituted the very first horse race to rules, the Newmarket Town Plate, and he revived and prospered racing in Newmarket. He often sat on a chair to watch his horses train on Warren Hill. The town grew. Sadly, Charles's last visit was in 1683, when a large fire destroyed half of the town. Charles and his brother James had to return to London early, but thereby foiled an assassination plot against them. Other kings and queens also loved Newmarket. Each in turn improved the town and its racing by their patronage. Queen Anne, King William III and Queen Mary II, they all stayed in the palace. During the Georgian period, 1713 to 1837, Newmarket flourished. This was the era that foreign imported stallions, the founding fathers, became the sires of the thoroughbred breed. In 1752, members of the Jockey Club came to Newmarket and later established themselves in a fashionable coffee room. The club grew and later came to govern racing. Members bought land to establish training grounds and eventually 2 formal racecourses. Newmarket became headquarters. Stables and studs were built in and around the town, and the wealthy built country homes in the area. Newmarket itself was little bigger than it had been in 1472. However, in 1848, the railway arrived in Newmarket and transformed it. Eventually, the town could boast 3 railway stations, handling goods and passengers from all over the country. The railway changed everything. Ordinary people could visit the races. The demand was so great that longer station platforms had to be built for enormous race special trains. Horses and livestock could be moved around quickly and easily. The iconic Newmarket clock tower, the Jubilee clock, was built in honour of Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee in 1887. Queen Victoria's son, King Edward VII, was very popular in Newmarket and promoted the racing. He had many friends in the town. After he died in 1910, the Memorial Hall, where Newmarket Town Council resides, was built in his memory. During both World Wars, Newmarket Heath was used as a Royal Air Force base. In World War II, it played an important role in bomber command. Newmarket had its worst bombing attack February the 18th, 1941. Almost half the high street was destroyed. A Wellington bomber crew taking off on the Heath managed to attack the Nazi Dornier 17Z and save the other side of the high street. Queen Elizabeth II has had a lifelong passion for horses and has often visited Newmarket. The statue, the Queen and her horses, now stands on an entrance to Newmarket.
We have to and was
Okay. I wish to say that Edwards came very often to Maisons-Laffitte, where he has, let's say, some woman adventure, you know, but we never found again the place, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have put a plate to remember in his memory, because he's one of the father of l'entente cordiale. You know, he has been very in favor of this Franco-British alliance. Something I had great pleasure to see again the Jockey Club, you see, because I visited it. And I tell you what, there was a joke that the person who led us through said to us, it took 300 years for the woman to join the Jockey Club, but 3 years to have power. And I think this is unfortunately the fate of our destiny today. Voilà, mais bravo, c'était très intéressant. C'était très intéressant. Et on a oublié dans le film français de vous présenter le gâteau de Maisons-Laffitte, qui est le gâteau de la roue et comment l'appelle-t-on déjà? J'ai oublié, zut. Qui est fait à
Paris-Brest.
Voilà, l'Express, le Paris-Brest, en faveur justement du cyclisme. Mais bravo, c'était très intéressant. Et bravo à l'ensemble des personnes qui ont fabriqué cet échange vidéo qui est très vivant. It's very, you know, it's living. It's really a genuine visio. It wasn't boring. It was very enthusiastic.
Yeah, correct. Sandra, right, and I had information that we have been trained with Maisons-Laffitte and Mesnil-le-Roi because of football, not because of racing. Am I right too?
Well, I am told this by one of the landlords of the an older man from a pub in the town, an inn, and he says that his father said that it began because the fire brigade twinned with the local fire brigade in Maisons-Laffitte, and also I believe the local football clubs twinned. And he said that was he's actually got photographs to prove it, he said. I haven't got them here, but this is what I was told.
Très bien.
So, your comments, questions?
J'ai une question. Quelles sont les nouvelles sur les causes à Maisons-Laffitte? Nous avons entendu qu'il va cesser.
Cécile, would you like to help us?
Yeah,
Cécile,
je vais
I'm sorry.
répondre.
Sorry, I was asking what's the news about the race course in Maisons-Laffitte?
Oui. Alors, nous sommes en train de travailler. We are still working to have races again. But as you know, we have created a local race company, race society, which in France restore the races. It will take time because it's not much so. France Gallo, which is, as we call in French, the Mother Society, is not opposed and was with us and is with us to select the, let's say, the best project, which on economic basis will be able to maintain the entire system. So we are working on that. Of course, you don't do that just by 2 fingers, you see. C'est compliqué, but we are progressing. We are progressing. Don't tell me when, but this is my main aim, because when we saw the Jockey Club, the horses, which are the heart of Newmarket, this is the same thing for us. We had horse races since 1777 in this city. The horses have been brought from Britain, you see, et donc nous avons eu des courses for almost 250 years. So we are going to maintain it. And I am going to explain you a small anecdote. During the war, the Americans bombed, you know, the railways to prevent, it was in May 1944, to prevent, of course, the Germans to bring their troops to the West Front. And they missed the bridge in Maisons-Laffitte, but hit a railway which was in Sartrouville. 110 deaths, killed. And the survivors said, the bastard, they are going to make us miss the first race. So you see how, you know, the living horses in this city, they came from Paris. This is the heart of our city, same as Newmarket.
Thank you, and bonne chance.
Merci.
Anyone else would like to say? Make your microphone is off if you like to.
Yeah, so was mine.
There's a way to.
Yes. I like to thank Christy to have initiated this event and to thank all people. On behalf of Amis de Newmarket Association, I hope that we'll be able to travel again next year. I have seen on the screen many friends or relationships in Newmarket, notably I say hello to David, Bill, Mike, Shirley, and so on. And I really hope that we'll be able to develop more ties between our communities. We expect that something be done to renew maybe somewhat different the exchanges and to continue exchanges, meetings, to develop some sporting or cultural meetings.
Brigitte, je voudrais vous remercier pour avoir porté toujours, je dirais, ce jumelage. I would like to say thank you to you. Et je voudrais vous dire une chose, les officiels ne peuvent pas tout faire. Le jumelage, ça doit être votre affaire en premier, car c'est à travers vous qu'on maintient les liens entre les hommes et j'embrasse toutes les femmes.
Maybe you can translate.
I said to Brigitte that, of course, official cannot do everything, you see, because we are, to tell you the truth, I'm signing some letters to the prefect now, you know, it never stops. but we have the chance to have association, les Amis de Newmarket, and they should maintain this relation between humans being, and as I said, entre les hommes, between men, and of course, I kiss all women, by the way.
Very well. Mick, would you like to say something as well?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Christy, for organising it, and thank you for everyone in Maisons-Laffitte and Mesnil-le-Roi for joining us tonight. I think it's a wonderful way, even though we can't visit each other's towns, it's a wonderful way of keeping in touch and ensuring that the friendship continues. I can assure everyone that Newmarket Town Council will continue to support the twinning, and we will do our very best when the circumstances allow us to arrange trips between the towns.
We shall never surrender.
No.
Very well. So we will be closing this event with something that has been sitting in our drawers for a year now. Councillor Jefferys, would you like to take over?
Yes, I will. There have been many people who have worked very hard to maintain the twinning and have worked hard and supported it for a very long time. And Newmarket Town Council would like to honour two people in particular, and I have plaques which I would like to present to them, but obviously I can only do it virtually. But the two people are Bill McLean and Mike Nicholas. And if I could, first of all, thank Bill first, and there is your plaque, which I'm sure we will get to you very soon. And the plaque says, in recognition of your contribution and continued support of the Twinning Exchange.
Oh, nice. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well done.
And now to Mike. There is your plaque, which says very similar words and a very well-deserved presentation to those stalwarts, the old faithfuls, as I called them. And we hope, we thank you for keeping the twinning going.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Am I being received? Can you hear me? Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Michael, and for your kind words. I've had many happy years doing the twinning, and I wish you all the very best for the future to have continues to run it on behalf of Newmarket. I think Bill will agree with me that we spent many years together either in Newmarket or on the other side of the channel, and it's a long-lasting friendship which I hope will certainly continue. Thank you for that kind of word. Thank you very much.
I congratulate, dear colleague, I congratulate you because those two men, we know them very well in Maisons-Laffitte, and their works is absolutely something which touch us as well. Bravo.
Bravo.
Could I speak now, please? I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to say good evening, Jack. Long time since I've seen you. Yes. Bridget. But also, I've really enjoyed the twinning. My first visit was in '63 with the Boy Scouts, as Jack knows, and then with the Fire Brigade until I became chairman in '94. But I think it's been a great memory drive, this has, seeing some of the clips from Maisons-Laffitte and Mesnil-le-Roi. I remember helped construct the telephone kiosk in your high street and in the opening of Alley Newmarket, and many school visits. I visit with the car club, with the golf, with the pantomime. And so I've really had a lot of good fun with the twinning altogether. And I do hope it continues. And I just thank everybody for taking part this evening. Well done.
Come back soon, and we will go together to the famous cave, the famous cellar, where we can have a glass of wine and champagne together, especially the champagne of Churchill, which is, what was the name? I forgot the name.
It was Paul Roger Cristal.
That's it, Paul Roger.
Paul Roger Cristal.
I put it in the ice. As soon as you come, we'll drink.
I've missed the trips with you, Jack. We've had some in the past.
Ok, à bientôt.
Nous attendons avec impatience.
Merci.
De rien, monsieur, de rien.
Et merci à tous les participants.
Oui.
J'ai beaucoup apprécié
Oui.
le reportage sur Newmarket qui est très, très bien fait.
À la prochaine fois.
À la prochaine. Bye bye.
À la prochaine.
So before we finish, I would like to say that the towns have been trained for over 60 years. It was seen as a way of spreading a mutual awareness and as an opportunity to develop our cultural knowledge by creating closer ties of friendship between three communities. And I believe we have achieved that tonight. We would like to thank you all, and we hope to see you all next year in Newmarket.
Yes.
On arrive.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Yes.
On arrive.
Well done, Phil. Yeah.
Bonsoir.
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 Thank you all. Have a nice evening. Au revoir.
Bye.